With Bihar's election campaign heating up, the opposition alliance is struggling to stay on the same page. In a rare and what can be described as a telling twist, Tejasvi Yadav of the RJD will have to campaign against his own party's candidate in Bodh district constituency, which can be seen as a direct result of the Mahagathbandhan seat-sharing chaos. Now, the alliance's confusion has spilled out in the open, with the RJD Congress party and left parties now clashing in at least a dozen constituencies, each fielding their own nominees. That's right, in at least 12 seats, it's either the RJD fighting the Congress party or a left party fighting the Congress or even the RJD. And this is all happening in Bihar, something that we've seen happen in Maharashtra as well. So what was meant to be a united front against the NDA has now turned into a messy turf war, one that could cost the opposition not just seats but also credibility. What does it mean for the outcome of Bihar results? Because Mahagathbandhan guys say that what happens at the top is not impossible. What happens at the top is not important. It's what's happening on the ground that's critical for the working of the alliance. But how does this change the sentiment on ground? That's what we discuss. Joining us now is Ajit Jha, who is with NDTV. He has been looking at Bihar politics very closely. We also have Suraj Mandal of the Congress party and Syed Akram of the RJD. But first, let's take a look at some reactions.
मैंने अपने जीवन काल में कभी इस तरीके का चुनाव नहीं देखा जहां पे इतना बड़ा गठबंधन इस तरीके से बिखराव की कगार पर आ गया। और ऐसे में अगर इस भ्रम में है महागठबंधन के लोग कि भैया कुछ सीटों पे आमने सामने हो जाएं, देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड एज फ्रेंडली फाइट, आइदर यू आर फ्रेंड्स और यू आर फाइटिंग विद ईच अदर। ये दोस्ताना संघर्ष राजनीति में नहीं होता है, ये गलत शब्दावली है।
लोगों को तो टिकट दिए हैं लोग, उनका थोड़े कोई कल्चर बदला है। जो बड़े बड़े सिंबल थे जंगल राज के, उन्हीं के परिवार को लोगों को टिकट दिया। इसलिए बिहार की जनता सब जानती है और जब रिजल्ट 14 नवंबर को आएगा तो मुझे लगता है कि पूरा इस बार सब सबक मिल जाएगा। आए थे SIR पर, वोट चोरी पर चर्चा भी कर रहे हैं इस बात का। पूरा यात्रा जो बिहार में किए राहुल गांधी जी इसी के नाम पर की, अब चर्चा भी कर रहे हैं कहीं SIR पर, वो मुद्दा खत्म हो गया। तो वो तो पॉलिटिकल टूरिस्ट है, चुनाव में अपना टूरिज्म करने के लिए भी हमका क्या लेना देना है राहुल गांधी का बिहार से।
मैं बार बार कहता हूं, मैं आजीवन कांग्रेसी था 2 जनरेशन से, फिर भी मैं बार बार कहता हूं, क्यों छोड़ के चले आए रामाश्रय बाबू, क्यों छोड़कर चले गए, बड़े बड़े दिग्गज नेता क्यों छोड़ के चले गए, आज अशोक कुमार भी क्यों छोड़कर चले आए। इसलिए कि लालू प्रसाद यादव कांग्रेस के प्रति ईमानदार नहीं है। अलायंस ऐसे जो रहे लेकिन कांग्रेस के प्रति ईमानदार नहीं है कि कांग्रेस ताकतवर हो, मजबूत हो, इस कहीं नहीं। मतलब जो एक अलायंस पार्टनर का हम 54 के हकदार हैं, हम 40 पैसे के हकदार हैं, वो भी देने को तैयार नहीं है। ये तो कांग्रेस पार्टी को ना समझना पड़ेगा। जितना टाइम RJD के पीछे कांग्रेस ने लगाया, अगर उतना समय खुद खड़े होने में लगाता था, आज कांग्रेस एक बड़ा ताकत बन के रहता प्रदेश में।
कांग्रेस RJD एक दूसरे को 2 नंबर की पार्टी बनाने के और पूरा उनका जो है ये अभियान चला। राहुल गांधी का जब SIR का यात्रा हो रहा था, उस समय भी आपने देखा कि राहुल गांधी चाहते थे कि तेजस्वी तीसरे नंबर पर बैठे। ये उनका अंदर का मतभेद है और कभी भी महागठबंधन के अंदर आपसी संवाद, आपसी मेल रह ही नहीं सकता है। और जनता और मतदाता ने देखा कि NDA ने सबसे पहले सीट शेयरिंग किया, सीट का बंटवारा किया, उम्मीदवार का घोषणा किया और आज तक महागठबंधन जो है सिर फुटअव्वल चल रहा है और अभी भी करीब 13 जगह पर इस तरह का मामला सामने नजर आ रहा है।
बीजेपी वालों के साथ यही परेशानी है। डबल इंजन की सरकार है, 11 वर्षों से केंद्र में सरकार है, यहाँ 20 वर्षों से सरकार है। इसके बावजूद वो कह रहे हैं कि महागठबंधन स्वार्थ के लिए। बिहार को विशेष राज्य का दर्जा क्यों नहीं मिला, विशेष पैकेज क्यों नहीं मिला, पटना यूनिवर्सिटी को सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी का दर्जा क्यों नहीं मिला, क्या काम किया बिहार के लिए, ये तो कोई बीजेपी के नेता बता ही नहीं रहे हैं। सिर्फ महागठबंधन पर आदरणीय लालू प्रसाद जी के परिवार पर, श्री तेजस्वी यादव जी पर गाली देकर चले जा रहे हैं।
Before I bring in my guest, let's go across to Prabhakar Kumar, my colleague who has been reporting from Bihar for us. Prabhakar, you've been reporting on how these friendly fights are taking place in around 13 constituencies. Of these, 6 is what you've reported is where there is the Congress party fighting the RJD. There could be around 2 seats in which the RJD is fighting, in fact, VIP. And then there are also seats where the left parties are against the Congress or the RJD. Begusarai is where you say all of this started. What is going to be the impact of these friendly fights?
See, the fact remains that they're all fighting against each other. The numbers may vary, but they're all fighting against each other. And it actually started from the Bachwara constituency in Begusarai, which is basically a left bastion, I would say. And the Youth Congress president here, he wanted to contest there. Audhesh Rai, who happens to be the CPI candidate from there, he lost the last election from a very narrow margin. So left did not wanted that particular seat to go. And it finally resulted into both Congress and left actually fielding their own candidates. And that Bachwara friendly fight has spread across 13 constituencies as we speak. Though the senior leadership of all the concerned parties, they are trying to convince their candidates to withdraw the nomination. Remember, 23rd happens to be the last date for the nomination withdrawal as far as the second phase of election in Bihar is concerned. But as of now, 13 is the number where there will be a friendly fight. And as we all understand the arithmetic of it, if both the alliance partners of Mahagathbandhan are contesting against each other, there's no nuclear theory to understand that it would immediately benefit the opposite alliance, which is the NDA alliance, or whosoever is the NDA candidate in the fray. So they are actually trying to get into the damage control mode, trying to ensure that one of the candidates from these 13 constituencies withdraw. We'll have to wait and see whether that actually they are able to do that on ground or not.
Absolutely, Prabhakar. Let's also take a look at what kind of impact it will have on the campaign. Thank you, Prabhakar, for joining us. Ajit Jha, my question to you, how did seat-sharing talks collapse so badly within the Mahagathbandhan? Because even now, before I entered the studio today, I did call up a few of my sources, and they say that, no, there's going to be a joint press conference, there's going to be a joint, a campaign. What happens at the top is not important. What happens on the ground is important. But how do you see the outcome of these friendly fights?
First of all, Vasudha, during the voter Adhikar rally for practically 16 days, Rahul Gandhi and Tejashwi Yadav, you were next to each other. But I guess at that time they were focusing on rather the SIR rather than thinking about seat sharing. I think they should have done this much earlier. After that, what happened that once the elections were announced, they barely got time to sit together and do what one should have done, which is a Mahagathbandhan seat distribution, not each political party doing a seat distribution. And there was massive bargaining between the Congress and the RJD, not over so much the number of seats, but more on the seats which the Congress wanted, which Congress considered winnable. Congress was basically fighting for seats where it had won last time, which are 19 seats, and where it had come number 2. And somehow some of these seats were clashing with CPI, for example. Some of these seats were clashing with RJD. Sometimes they were not exactly a clash, but for example, in Kutumba, the Congress party's president, Rajesh Kumar, was contesting, and there one of the candidates is actually a local district RJD candidate who apparently had got the ticket, and he put his name there. So in many of these places, there was a massive clash. Bachwara that Prabhakar mentioned is very interesting because last time the margin of victory was barely 454 votes. So imagine if there is a clash between the CPI and in this case one of the other allies, the RJD, let's say, or the Congress. So then what tends to happen is there's no way that they are going to win. It will end up being completely advantage for the NDA. It's similar in the first... Not
even chemistry, it's probably about numbers. Ajit Jha, I'll come back to you in just a minute. Syed Akram, like Mr. Jha is also pointing out, there is a decision that was taken by RJD to nominate a candidate against Congress State President Rajesh Ram, and this is from the Kutumba constituencies. in Aurangabad district. He also pointed out to other parts like CPI has fielded a candidate against Congress nominees in multiple constituencies. Then you have Rajgir Assembly constituency where the CPI ML, which had a very good strike rate last time, they have given a ticket to a candidate against the Congress candidate. And of course, Bachwara in Begusarai. What could the RJD have done better to avoid all this, sir? Because at the end of the day, Bihar, I mean, there is too much for you at stake here. Syed Akram?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Akram, what could the RJD have done better to sort of avoid this kind of chaos that's playing out now when it comes to friendly fights in Bihar?
Vasudha, thank you. No, what should we do for the best? We have done. We are already in a position to contest very smoothly, very friendly, with very good consciousness, with good understanding with other ally partner. Rest of the seats, you are talking about few seats, 5, 6, 7, something like that. So just going on, there is nothing a big hurdles within the party or within our ally partners, right? So our alliance is very intact, very peaceful, very smooth going on, and there is no confusion. That NDA itself suffering from a lot of problem with their ally partner. Sometimes Manji ji is saying, I am warning this, you have to pay for this, whatever you have done with me. Mr. Manji said, Khemiaza bhugatna padega. Right. Upender Kushwaha, nothing is well. Mr. Paswan. So there is a lot of differences. A member of parliament.
Mr. Akram, that was all something that happened last week. Let me also get in Mr. Mandal here.
What is going on there in NDA?
Right.
That should also be a part of discussion. Okay. Other than that, what is going on? Going in.
Absolutely, we did that, sir. Mr. Mandal, how do you look at the Congress's responsibility here? Because you know, JMM, which was your ally in Jharkhand, has also declared that it will contest against the Mahagathbandhan candidates on 6 seats. So that is something that you could have handled better, isn't it?
It has been handled, ma'am. You must be aware, and I think Mr. Prabhakar can report to you, that JMM has decided not to contest any of these 6 seats. And that has been on the intervention of Rahul Gandhi. Rahul ji has spoken also to Mr. Dipankar Bhattacharya that the Bachwara seat problem should be sorted out. I'll tell you one thing, that being given that it's almost a dozen seats where there can be so-called friendly fights, it's not that much. Only there are 2 or 3 seats where the problem lies, and that is being sorted out. I think Congress has also to withdraw. You know, there has been reports that 60 seats have been declared, but it's actually 59. And Rahul ji has spoken to Tejasvi ji and said that being the convener of the alliance over there in tackling he has to take immediate steps so that the wrong message doesn't go. Absolutely. I'll tell you one more thing.
But Mandal, you know, the perception that goes out that this is an alliance that is not very stable, that's not a good thing, especially when you are trying to bank on anti-incumbency, isn't it?
Vasudha ma'am, let me just point out 2 very important things. Number one, that SIR issue is not gone. Every day we are listening, and just today also there has been massive, kind of unearthing of some great fiasco on the part of Election Commission, which seems to have sided with BJP almost altogether. Again, there has been, this issue is being tackled in Supreme Court. I know that Supreme Court should have taken a decision much before. But people of Bihar are convinced that their vote is being theft. There is a vote theft or vote chori is going on. Okay. And most importantly,
I'd like to take on from that. A lot of us
one point, please permit me just to raise one very important point, that the Home Minister of this country, Mr. Amit Shah, is camping in Patna for last 3 days. You know, the NDA alliances are almost at gunpoint. They have been threatened. Mr. Dharmender Pradhan, today only, Jan Swaraj has held a press conference saying that their two candidates has almost been abducted,
So these
and
are
they were
parties
sitting
just
with the Home
preparing to win
Minister.
Bihar, and in some ways it would have been better if Congress also does the same. I'm sure you started the SIR campaign with a lot of intensity, and that's my question to Ajit Jha. A lot of us feel that the Mahagathbandhan campaign peaked a little too early, sir. But like Mr. Akram and Mr. Mandal have been pointing out, the 13 seats is not a big thing. Would you agree with that, Mr. Jha?
No, I completely disagree. Of course, let me first point out that the RJD and even the Congress has done something that has not been much reported, which is basically they have changed the kind of candidates they had last time. So there is more focus on what they call the PDA now, the Pichhdi Jati, the Dalit, the Alpsankyak, especially the MBC. Congress has done that, and so has the RJD. In fact, the RJD has fielded 24 women. They have removed almost 36 sitting MLAs. So all that is wonderful, and that will help the Mahagathbandhan. But if there are friendly fights, I would argue in even 3 or 4 of these constituencies out of 13, it would hurt the Mahagathbandhan, remembering that last time the Mahagathbandhan had lost only by 12,700 votes. So I'm arguing that the fight is so tight, and the fight is basically, between the NDA and Mahagathbandhan. And remember, Prashant Kishore is the third player, which makes the fight even more tighter. So any kind of vote loss, by even a few thousand votes or a few hundred, could mean the entire tables could turn. So I think
that's a very important point. Syed Akram, how would you respond to that? When the fight is tighter, even one seat would matter.
Can I add one more thing to what Ajit sir had to say?
Yes, sir.
That, there is already...
Vasudha, I want to make my point here.
Yeah, Mr. Akram, finish. I'll then come to Mr. Mandal. Mr. Akram.
Vasudha. Yes. Okay. No, I just want to tell you one thing. See, in India Alliance, we are very intact. This is very democratic and organic alliance, right? We are not pressurized by any of from Delhi or any of from Gujarat. Our alliance, our partners are not pressurized from the Gujarat or from the Delhi, right? We are very democratic. We are fighting.
Completely out of time, Mr. Mandal. 10 seconds.
We are discussing the things.
Yeah. Just I'll add to what Ajit sir had to say. We have already begun the winning scene. 4 candidates of NDA have been disqualified. So there is no fight at 4 places. It's all independent versus the Mahagathbandhan. And secondly, Ajit sir should be remembering that every time there is a winning party, it has got lots of pressure. In 1977, you must have seen, or 1989. So similarly, at this hour, the Mahagathbandhan has got lots of pressure because most of the candidates feel that this is the winning side and it's almost going to sweep, in spite of the fact that all sorts of...
Mr. Akram, you wanted to finish your point, sir.
Thank you.
No. My point is there is no dispute within us. From outside, NDA is suffering pressure. Mr. Home Minister coming to Patna and from the land of Patna is announcing that we are contesting under the face of Nitish Kumar, but we are not declaring as a chief ministerial candidate. So JDU should answer for this.
Okay.
This is the question of...
Last word from Ajit Jha. Who is under more pressure, sir? Is it the NDA or is it the Mahagathbandhan? Because Mr. Akram is pointing out to this one thing, that he feels that it's the NDA that's more under pressure. What we see as preparedness or preparation could be also seen as pressure by the opposition. Mr. Jha.
Let me put it this way. The NDA was under pressure in the past. They were, of course, especially between JDU and BJP. But somehow they sorted it a few days before the last date. The Mahagathbandhan is still under pressure, not only among allies, but even inside the party. In fact, the Congress party in charge, in Patna airport, there were these ugly scenes where he was being almost threatened and, I don't know, even beaten by his own, party members who used to earlier dominate, the Congress party. So the inside fight between the Congress factions, and even in RJD, those 36 of the sitting MLAs who have been out, many of them are going to rebel openly. So there is a lot of pressure. They need to sit together and sort it out. The Mahagathbandhan, if they want to win this election.
Lead to a one-sided victory for NDA, but like I repeat, sometimes what happens on the ground is more important, and that is something we'll get to know only on the 14th of November.